This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome once again live to Djuma in the Sabi Sands in South Africa, where it is a balmy 39 degrees Celsius, 103 degrees Fahrenheit. My name is Steve. I'm joined on camera by Davisito. And, well, it is a marvelous afternoon. There is a cloud system developing from the west. And, well, it is cooling down slightly. We have spotted a beautiful Wahlberg eagle that we had in frame a moment ago. Please feel free to send your questions and comments through to hashtag SafariLive or drop them in on the YouTube chat stream. Let us know what you'd like to see and talk about this afternoon. Hopefully we can accommodate. Well, you can see the Wahlberg eagle is now being bombed by a smaller bird. I didn't quite get a look at it, but there we go. Probably a fork-tailed drongo. Yep, the honey badger of the sky. Can you imagine how brave you must be to be such a small individual and to go bombard an enormous raptor? Fork-tailed drongos are well known to chase small, medium-sized and large raptors anywhere near their nesting sites, and often it will cause the large bird to move away. Now, a lot of people might ask, what is the purpose of small birds mobbing a large predator? And owls and eagles alike, even predators such as leopard, will be mobbed sometimes. And the purpose of that is if the predator has been spotted, its camouflage and stealth tactic have disappeared, so it doesn't have the element of surprise anymore, and generally they will move off in search of something a little bit easier. Predators don't like to be spotted. Obviously it's very difficult to hunt if you've been spotted, and so invariably owls and eagles alike will move away. It is the breeding season, not only for the fork-tailed drongo and most other birds, but also for the Wahlberg eagle that is having a bit of a yawn. You see his wings are slightly open. He's trying to get a bit of a breeze there to cool himself down. But anyway, we're going to focus on some birds, some tracks, and see if we can find, hopefully, the little chief from yesterday morning, because we would love to find him on this beautiful afternoon. But out in the Mara and back up and in action is David Gitu.
A very happy Boxing Day to all of you, our nice viewers, and it's always good to look for everything out here in the wilderness, be it a bird, be it a mammal. My name is David, and again, happy Boxing Day, and with me on camera is Archie. Very good afternoon. Very excited to have you on board, and good news, this is our second day running without any rainfall, which is pretty good. Nothing against the rain. We badly need a lot more rain here, but the infrastructure had almost become impossible. There are certain roads we could not access, but now this is the glorious weather we have. Wonderful temperatures, 28 degrees Celsius and about 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Remember, our drive, as usual, very interactive as you go back to our zebras and to our toppies. So should you have any questions, any comments, don't be shy. Please send them through hashtag SafariLive as usual on Twitter, or you can keep following us on the YouTube chat stream. This is one of the best light, I would say, I've seen here for the last 2 weeks, and this time around, because every other afternoon we have come prepared with Archie, set the cameras, vehicle ready, big spirit, and thunderstorms start coming, and the next thing, the sky would open, it would have massive rains, and you would have the flaps down, and you would not be able to see such beautiful animals like this one toppy here that's just enjoying the view of the Mara Triangle. This is a toppy and a species of animal that is not found in South Africa, and I would say our closest cousin would be the sesame. Well, rainfall or food brings different animals together, because if you look carefully here, we got two different species of animals, but because they have a commonality of food, they have grass, they have a reason to be together, but apparently enough for everybody. That's the beautiful Mara Triangle, which I'm sure at one point I'll be giving you that view shortly after this. But the gentleman with one of the best smiles in Africa would like to say hello to you and wish you a happy Boxing Day.
You can see that at the moment the bush is very much green, and these green bushes behind me is associated today with quite a lot of rain promising to come. A very, very good afternoon and welcome to the beginning of the afternoon safari. This is Sydney Pumulani Mikosi. I am traveling with Marcel, who is my camera operator this afternoon. We are going to carry on from previous. I will be heading back to the Chitwa, where we have been lucky this morning with the 2 lions. Maybe we might find the rest of the pride this afternoon. For in case if you need our attention, you can follow us on Twitter, #SafariLive. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. So I have been checking some tracks from the beginning, and I have not yet picked up any tracks, but I'm not close to the Chitwa. I was just trying to check if maybe we can pick up any leopard tracks on the way before we get there. It was going to be very interesting to see something. So it has been extremely hot this afternoon by this part of South Africa. So I'm sure a lot of these cats, where we left them this morning, we might still find them more or less in the same area. So now let's quickly cross over to the Masai Mara, where David is waiting.
Well, going to the Chitwa Dam is always exciting because there's a lot you'll see where you see or where you get water. Anywhere in the world in general, water will always attract some kind of life. But here, I'm showing you the beautiful landscape of the Mara Triangle. And look at that expanse of land. And this, I'm sure, you all know, or those who have never joined us before, there's one major difference in terms of habitats between the Mara and Djuma in South Africa. The Mara is more open. It's such an expanse of land, but either way, we still got a lot of animals that will fill this particular game reserve. Earlier, we had toppies and zebras at the same time, and just next door, not very far from where they are, we got that brown antelope there that's a bit shy today, being a Boxing Day. He doesn't want to put his head up, and that is a waterbuck. Hopefully going to put his head up. So we've got 3 different species of animals in the radius of what? They're like 10 meters apart. And as I said, they have been brought together by one commonality, which is food. And they have enough to eat. And seeing animals flicking the tails like that is always so peaceful. Rocky, I would say I have no idea what I'm talking about, and you want to know what's Boxing Day. I mean, being here in Africa, there's a lot of culture that we have learned from the Western world, and to the animals, I do not think they have an idea what Boxing Day is. But from what I learned in school, when I went to a school in the city, I was told after people would gather together as families, they would pack gifts for each other, and then they'll celebrate either a turkey Christmas for dinner, and the day after, which is today the 26th, I don't know what date is, Rocky, for you, people would open their presents to each other, and they would give, they would share, this is what I had for you. And so Boxing Day is the day they would open the boxes. But strange enough, while I was still in college, and that toppy seems to have one horn, the right one, that is missing the tip. Maybe age, being a boy, maybe have a little fight. So, Rock, yeah, I mean, I remember when we were still young, guys would say Boxing Day was a day to fight. And I remember we had a few brawls here with boys fighting each other, because that's what we understand Boxing Day is. And it's funny, it took us, for me especially, quite a long time to know it had nothing to do with fighting. Well, it wasn't a big fight, but people would get little bruises, little punches on the eyes, because that's what that day was meant to be. Very good, Toppy. Enjoy the view. I'm going to be letting you enjoy the view. I need to look for something else. And Sydney got a feathered friend like Steve earlier.
So you can see there I've got a very beautiful bird Oh, it's two of them, the Egyptian goo and the saddle-bill stock. You can see the stock is looking for some diet at the moment. This is quite a very beautiful bird with very long legs. Earlier on, there was also a water monitor, but this monitor can see is disappearing. So the water is going down again here by the Twins Dam. This is the Twins Dam, and it was having a lot of water about few weeks ago. So the monitor, you can see there now, that is he swimming? Oh, there's an alarm call somewhere here. There is an alarm call somewhere here. Let me just quickly investigate. I can hear that the impalas are giving an alarm call against something somewhere here on Twinsdam Road. Somewhere on Twinsdam Road, I heard the impalas making some noise. Let me just quickly check who is there. Maybe one of these predators is coming to drink here. Yeah, it will be lovely if we find a cat, but these calls are coming from this direction. So in order to find the cats, we have to concentrate on these alarm calls. Otherwise, it's gonna be difficult. But those animals calling, I could hear that it's coming from this side. Yeah, Kenneth, somewhere here, I can promise you there is a dangerous animal. Let me just listen again. And it was just the impalas who were giving that call. So we're just parallel to the Muluwati dry river bed. Maybe this animal is somewhere deep in the dry river bed or is somewhere in these thick bushes here. They cannot just call for nothing. I trust the impalas a lot. So I can't see any tracks. So now, while I'm looking around here, let's cross over to David, who's got a water bag.
Well, I want always to believe that the impala's alarm call in general, you can rely on it more than these water bags here. Now, what did you decide to do? Are you trying to scent mark? Or are you trying to have a little scratch on your head, or both? What's wrong with you? Yeah, it could be the scent mark in there, I would say, because what happens in general, males are the ones that will scent mark when we come to the antelope's kingdom, and doing it on both sides. There's a tendency that is exactly what he's doing. Some of the antelopes will have the scent glands on the face or on the forehead, but at the same time, he had decided to eat part of that grass. Now, this is a waterbuck. And we've got two species of waterbacks in Africa. We have the common waterbuck and we have the Defasa waterbuck. This particular one here is called the Defasa waterbuck. And there's some females and some youngsters. In general, you might get one male and a few females that will have a few wives and some youngsters. And I'm imagining that male is just so down there is the dominant male here, and what he was doing was just scent marking and just zeroing in this particular territory as he is moving his wives or the females in a different direction. So if we look on the bottoms, you see that white rump That's how the Defasa waterbuck look like. But should we see the common waterbuck, they have a white ring on the bottoms. We have always made a joke, they seem to have sat on a wet or on a paint, on a toilet. White common waterbucks, because I've always these ones here coming in through there. And if you compare the size of horns of these two animals, I mean the impala and the one we saw before, the horns, but when you look in terms of shape and how they, they come out, I think I would say the ones from impala look more colorful to me. I think Archie's trying to get, yeah, that's another male there. And all these are boys, impala boys. And this one is getting cleaned by some ox pickers, I guess. Richard, great comment there. I would agree with you. This waterbucks here, to me, a little bit striking. And if, Richard, you know how the common waterbuck looks like, to me, I have always thought or said anytime the Defasa waterbuck, that white rump there below the tail is more conspicuous. And also the white under the base of the horns also is more appealing. I would say, yes, I agree with you, Richard, that the Defasa waterbuck look much colorful than the common waterbuck. Got some zebras here, not sure, they got some little issues among themselves, and there could be some stallions, and stallions at a particular age may have a go on each other, especially if the dominant male wants the boys, which could be fully grown, out. He may have to forcefully evict them and eject them from the herd. These are the common zebras. What are you doing there? And this one's trying to bite the other, and the other one is kicking back. And I can tell you, you do not want to be kicked by a zebra. I love me alone. This sort of not exact. In the elephants, where you have elephants baying sisters or first cousins, you might get, the male might have picked maybe 3, 4, 5 different females and has grouped them together, and he kind of takes care of them. Very good. My apologies there, ladies and gentlemen. We had a little bit of a technical issue, and these things will happen once in a while. We are all the way in the wilderness in Africa, and for us to get you to a screen, there's so many stages we go through. Apologies for that little break up there. But again, coming to that male you see there of the waterbuck, the females to the left, they might not be related. It could be females he was able to pick maybe one after the other, put them together, and he is in charge of them. But when we compare that to the elephant, you'll get the females in general are always related, either sisters or first cousins. And same case to lions. Lions, the females will always be together, so they are always all related. If females or female cubs are born in the pride, they'll always stick in their pride all their lives. If they are any males, after some time the males will leave. So for the waterbuck, I would guess this male would have picked them at different times and put them together. I love me alone. I hope that helps to answer your question. Big difference between these particular antelopes, unlike other antelopes like the grand gazelles or the Thompson gazelles, where you'll get males and females having horns. But for the waterbucks, we'll get the horns only on the males. Same case to the impalas that you see behind them there. Those are called impalas. And the females of the impalas also do not have horns. So I was trying to compare the shape of the horns between these two antelopes here, the waterbuck and the impala, and I got a feeling the waterbuck is not as good looking as the impala. Well, I'm talking of impalas here in Kenya. Let's go to other impalas in South Africa.
The impalas were just giving some calls that side. I'm not too sure what was the size of the predator, if there was a predator where they were calling Didn't see any evidence, nothing, and now everything is quiet. I am back here by the Twins Dam where I am seeing some of the birds still here, and there is even some warthogs as well, and the monitor is still deep in this water. So we are going to leave here and carry on much more towards Chitwa and see if we can find those lions we saw this morning. So you can see the warthogs are playing the babies there. This is interesting. They are confusing the stock. So the little warthogs can be so fast. Look at that. So the mother is not worried. They're just playing those little ones. Look at them. So the animals such as jackals, they do catch the baby warthogs a lot. So it's good that the warthogs are doing some exercises. These little ones can go very fast. Look at that. So these babies are so cute, and you can see them just playing with their tails up. So here I'm only seeing one matured warthog. Maybe that one is the mother. Can see the teeth there. So the warthogs, the little ones are always on high risk if it's just the mother and the little ones. Because these little ones, if two jackals come here, they are going to confuse the mother and take one or two. But at least if maybe we have got about 2 adults or 3 adults, they can easily defend these little ones. Kenneth, the mom warthog calls the baby. You will hear they do give kind of more or less the same kind of a sound as a domestic pig. You will hear them doing something like. So it's like that, but don't get confused, because impalas as well, they use a noise which is more similar to this one, where you will hear them doing When you hear a noise like that, you must know that impalas are calling the babies. So if you hear, then it's the warthog. So we are not very far away from the Chitwa. The baby warthogs are so cute. Even the warthogs themselves, they are so cute with those kind of teeth coming out. So those are very much sharp, and they can use them for defense. So now let's quickly go to David, who's got the vultures.
All right, good luck to Chitwa, and one thing I know Sydney will not miss at Chitwa Dam will be birds of some sort in that dam, be they kingfishers, be they fishy goose, be they sacred ibis, or the Egyptian geese. Well, I got vultures here. I'm trying to remember if at any one time I saw any vultures around Chitwa Dam. Maybe not, but Sydney and Steve over might remind me. Now, we've got lots of vultures on this particular tree, and my guess is definitely there could be a kill somewhere, and my guess is the owners of the kill must still be there. Otherwise, these vultures may not have any business being there. It's a tree that I know pretty well. I've always been passing here, every other day while going out on a drive. But that bush actually is spanning, could be the area where maybe the killers, and chances are would be lions, could be staying. When it gets warm like this, and after the lions have made a kill, they'll always drag it down. Maybe not there because it's a little bit of a zebra there, but maybe further down, or the zebra could be there. You see there, at that corner, there's a zebra there. So I highly doubt, the lions will be there. But it is within that particular radius where the killers or, there would be cats could be hiding. My guess is the only predators that I guess would be here would be lions. And as I was saying, when it gets pretty warm like now, for them to preserve their kill, they'll always drag it in a little shaded area, which is their basic fridge, just to make sure they preserve it. And it lasts them quite long, if especially it was a big game, a big prey like buffalo. And you can see how beautiful the Mara is after all the migration of the wildebeest left, having eaten most part of the grass. Carla, you'd like to know how large those vultures are. On a wingspan, they could go up to about 3 feet in terms of, being white when they spread their wings like that. And they could be about a foot and a foot and a half high, when they're standing on the ground. But like now where they are, because of the heat, you see they have tucked in their head like that color. And those are what we call the African white-backed vultures. African white-backed vultures, and our largest vultures here in Africa are called the Nubian vultures or the lappet-faced vultures. Well, from the birds in the Mara Triangle, we'll go to another bird with Steve.
Thank you, David. Well, indeed, the vulture. Oopsie, that was a bit of a poo right there. From the vultures of the Mara to the Bateleur eagle in Najuma. We do get Bateleurs up in the north, and well, often Bateleur and vultures are a good use or a sign to follow to find predators. But generally, when you do follow them and find predators, the animals are already on a kill. They have already made, the action has already probably passed. And, well, then you'll find flat cats or maybe the beginnings of the feeding. We followed up on those calls that Sydney heard as well before of Impala. And we weren't far away at the time, and we found 3 bachelor males having a bit of a out-of-season rutting period. So not the direct alarm call that we're always looking for, but very, very similar. So those are the 2 methods plus the 3rd method. So we follow and find predators by the use of scavenging birds like this juvenile Bateleur and vultures, as well as by alarm calls, which we use all of the time, and then thirdly by directly tracking them. So those are the 3 methods. This time of year, with it being quite dense and quite thick, the alarm calls are the most sort of accurate and the easiest for us to follow, because, well, the tracking can be quite difficult on the ground. That is a little bit hard in places because of the rain. But this eagle can sometimes be confused with the Wahlbergs because of the little crest that sometimes sits up on the top of the head there, but that is just from the wind. You can see that there's no feathers. You see the wind blowing the back of the head. Quite a sort of characteristic sort of shape to what a Wahlbergs has. But you can see that it's got sort of a greenish sort of facial mask on the head. And almost, if you look at it, it's difficult to see in this in the screen, but it's a little bit bluish green, the face, which will eventually become a very red skin face when it, whoopsie, there it goes, when it becomes an adult. Let me just give Rexon a quick update. Good afternoon, Texan. There is apparently some Ngala in the north next to Big Dam, and we're on Juma. No updates so far. So the radio, if you're not familiar, we use these for communicating with other members of the team out here to assist us in finding animals. Because if we... Okay, copy that. Yeah, we went down the Mulwati and Sydney went down Twin Dams. So if you check that side, that'll be awesome. We are on Leadwood at the moment. Okay, so we're going to quickly go up to the Masai Mara, David.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mara Triangle, and we have a very interesting standoff here between that one buffalo you see there and those 2 lions. Now, these two lions that you see here belong to a pride of lions that we call the Olololo. And the Ololos are not 2, they are 3, they are 4, and when all together, they are 16 in number. So 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9, 10, and 11. I'm looking forward to some entertaining moment here, because to me, from the body language, they have every reason to show they want to go for some early dinner, either for Christmas, of course, as much as Christmas was yesterday. And we had 2 of them, or 2 lions that I showed you before that were together, trying to tease that one particular buffalo, and he kept going around. The lions would follow him, and he would turn around and, kind of give them a little chase. So we just want to sit here and wait and see what will happen. Well, we'll have a lot of interruption, or a lot of visual pollution, if I may call it, of other vehicles, on the sighting, but nothing to worry. Most important, they have also wonderful guests, just like you, who have come to Africa and also in the Mara Triangle in Kenya to come and see this great sighting. So let's see how things will play out. We don't want to get so close, like those vehicles you see there. Yes, Mr. Lapwing, I agree with you. This is just like the paparazzi. And Mrs. Lapwing, if you get close to these fellows here who are moving those vehicles and you stay near them, Mrs. Lapwing, and you hear their cameras, you'll just hear them firing. So I agree with you 100%. They are nothing but paparazzis. But well, they need to take memories home. And now you can see that buffalo is just looking at that particular lion. So the rest of them have come, they have sat down, and I'm imagining they're definitely in communication. Apart from that one buffalo you see there, there are another 4, 5. Yes, how many of those are actually? Those are 4 there, right? Yeah, we've got 4 of those buffaloes there. And they're also facing the lions. And I'm sure they're trying to imagine maybe the date or the day of reckoning could be today. They may not know who exactly could be the target, and the whole idea, one of them might be brought down. Not as yet. We're just going to sit here and wait how things will play out. You see those 2 lions are together there. But this is, I think, a good day for lions, because apart from me having the lions, we also got Sydney with similar or other lions in Joma.
You can see that this is a sign I have got something. Listen to the warning calls. Listen to that. So I'm going to show you what I've got at the moment here. Look, I have got the lions who are now aiming at the impalas somewhere around the Chitwa Dam at the moment. So the rain is promising. Apologies for the roof, as it's going to be appearing a lot. So the poles that are consisting my roof is going to appear too much. So you can see that one of these lions is just standing at the moment. So this is the Chitwa where we are at the moment. You can see the impalas are drinking there, and the waterbucks has been here. And now that these kind of francolins are giving the warning calls, these animals are going to be very wary about the presence of these lions. You can see the other one is now standing. So this is the 2 females we saw earlier this morning, and I think these are part of the Nkuhuma pride. So it's just that the rest of the pride. So while waiting to see what is going to happen, let's quickly cross over to David by the Masai Mara.
Very good, Sydney. Well done, having seen the lions. And now things might unfold here. We are not very sure. It might take time for these lions to decide what they want to do. But we have seen also once in a while the buffaloes turning tables against the lions and fighting them, and sometimes injuring the lions badly. So this pride of lions here, they have to be very careful. They have to have a proper judgment. They have to assess the situation before they commit themselves. So just walking now, just passing and, not bothered to show any sign of a hunt. And you see that one buffalo trying to chase the lion there. And sometimes a game of cat and mouse, and not actually running away. He is zeroing in on that particular one there. Oops. Then he's going to stop and then come join the rest of the herd. Now, one thing you know for a fact, all these lions, the 11 I counted, they're definitely in communication of some sort. How they communicate, of course, I would guess is body language, maybe not using ultrasound like elephants, but I'm sure that like, you move that way, you stay back, I'll do the attacking, I'll do the defending, and I'm going to carry the final execution of the hunt. So for me now, it's just wait and read this situation here, but I got a feeling we might be going to a wonderful moment. For those of you who are joining us now, this pride of lions here is called the Olololo Pride. And they were named Olololo because they tend to hang around the Olololo escarpment. Olololo escarpment featured very prominently in the movie Out of Africa for anybody who might have watched that movie. And if you did not, when you get time, you can always watch it. Remember, our drive is always very interactive. Comments like who is faster between a buffalo and a lion will be, questions like that. Very good. Comments like, oops, this is turning to be exciting. Those are great comments. Hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. Now, buffalo's drama might happen here. Why that particular one is chasing the lions, I do not know. Isabella, yes, the Ololos have to be careful. They know the price of making a mistake. If they miscalculate, buffaloes have been even known apparently to kill lions. I mean, especially the males, they're huge, they're strong, and they got very solid bones. I mean, not bones, but horns. It's very easy to gouge even their eyes out. Or we have seen elephants with, lions with very bad wounds coming from the lions. Now, the last three that were behind the pride are crouching and coming up to join the 5 that were in front. But I'm thinking they might zero on one, and what they will do, all of them will agree at what time to attack. 2 of them have laid down completely and not moving. And these 2, I want to believe they're just salivating and saying, this Christmas we need a proper and serious dinner for all of us. Because as I said earlier, it's a huge pride. And about 11 of them, or rather 16 when all together. FM, how exciting is this? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Boxing Day afternoon in the Mara Triangle in Kenya. Now, we got a pride of lions here that is called the Olololo Pride that is trying to get itself Christmas dinner, and they have been having a standoff between the 11 lions that I've counted here with one particular buffalo, but apart from this one buffalo, there are 4 more. A warm welcome, and what we do live broadcast, and we'll always come to you 100% live. So should you have any questions or should you have any comment, I will answer them in real time, and you can always ask those questions or you can send your comments using hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. Paula, how are you, Paula? And happy Boxing Day, Paula. And I'm happy, Paula, you're on board, and I am always happy to hear your name. And look at that now. He has gone and splitting the whole group. Oops, one fell down. I do not know what this might mean, so just keep watching. But I got a feeling, oops, okay, now let's go. Something going to happen here. We'll see what these lions will do. There are 11 of them, and there are 4 buffaloes. We'll see if 5 buffaloes in total. If the other 4 will try and go and save one. Now, that is a young male, and yeah, the final control says this is pretty crazy. So this as 5 youngsters, I just want to move forward a little bit, if you allow me, because this is just becoming quite epic here, and we might be seeing some cool moment on this Boxing Day. So I just want to go very close. I don't want to interfere with the hunt, but also we do not want to miss any one moment of this wonderful sighting. This is going to make my Boxing Day. So actually, let me go left. Silva, that's a very good question, and you want to know whether it's the alpha buffalo chasing the lions. It would be very difficult for me, Silva, to know who is chasing the lions, but I think my guess is there's always a joke we've made here. If the locals, us in the village, go hunting lions, that's way back, and maybe one of us would be the coward person is the one who would try and get to the lions first, and lions should know and would get to this person. So of these 5 buffaloes here, the one that's chasing the lions, to me, I think is the one that's a bit skittish, and chances are he'll be brought down by these lions. Now these lions are playing some kind of game, and either they want to draw one away from the other herd of 4 and then zero on it, and of course, and once they bring it down, that will be the time. Now, in this pride, Zach, we got 7 males, and all of them are youngsters. 7, like the one you see running there, that's a young male. All of them are youngsters, but there's always a coalition here of lions. We got some people there who are very, very loud, which would maybe come and give a hand to these other youngsters and the females. Now I want to find out if all of them are together, or if all the females, there are 4 females in this pride, see if they're joining the youngsters in trying to bring a buffalo down. How exciting this would be. Now these buffaloes, you can tell, they have really panicked. Thomas, I agree with you. Yes, this is definitely a standoff. We are talking of 5 buffaloes and 11 lions. So Thomas, will keep watching. We want to see how the drama here will unfold. And keep sending your questions. Keep sending your comments. #SafariLive on Twitter, because this might be very exciting. So I want to move forward a little bit to have a better angle. Mukari, how is New Orleans? And you're saying this is awesome, and you could not ask for a better thing on... that's good, Rachi. You cannot ask for a better thing on a Boxing Day, Makari. So keep watching, Makari. Let's enjoy this together, because we might be getting something very exciting here. Now, the buffaloes are coming upwards, and I cannot see one single lion at the moment. Carla, good question. How long does the hunt take? It could be anything like 10 minutes. It could be anything like a whole 1 hour. So it depends until it will be the right moment for the lions to strike, or until maybe, Carla, they achieve what they want. Because what I think these lions want to do is to separate the one buffalo they want to target on and just, deal with it. But as it is now, so long as the buffaloes are together, they have a lot of strength. Of course, we always say strength in numbers. So the whole idea, whoever they want to bring down, whichever buffalo the lions want to hunt, must be away from away. Olololos are always very lucky in getting buffaloes. Currently, the migration is gone, and migration I'm talking about, we had thousands and thousands of wildebeest here a couple of months ago, and they have all gone back to Serengeti National Park in Tanzania to calve or to bring down their babies come the month of February. Now, by virtue of being so many, Olololos are only left with one choice, and the only prey they tend to target is buffaloes. 2.5 weeks ago, or let me say 3 weeks ago, the Olololos brought down 2 buffaloes almost at the same time, and in a span of, or in a radius of about 50 meters. So Olololos are always very successful when it comes to bringing down buffaloes. They have specialized to bring down big prey, again, as I said, by virtue of their numbers. When they don't bring down a buffalo, they have been known to bring down giraffes or the big antelopes that we call elands. Well, they seem to have relaxed a little bit, and thank you very much everybody for having joined us. My name is David, and on camera with me was Archie. So should there be another exciting moment, don't go very far. We'll send you a few other notifications, and it could be exciting to be with us. From me and Archie, thank you very much, and goodbye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am not going anywhere. I'm staying here. I'm sure you have enjoyed that exciting moment. And how epic has that been for the last 5-10 minutes? And what we'll do, we'll just have to reposition ourselves, because I'm looking forward to an exciting moment. Well, it seems to have died down, but the lions, the youngsters especially, keep chasing the buffaloes back and forth, back and forth. So once I go around the other side, maybe is the place where we are meant to be, and going to stick there and tent there and wait and see what will happen. But in the meantime, we'll take you back to Sydney to see how things are going.
So you can see that nothing is happening at the moment. Yes, this lion attempted to hunt some of the impalas and waterbucks who were just having a drink earlier on, but that hunt just fainted. So they gave up very quickly. So now it's time for them again to carry on lying down. They are just lying down on top of this dam wall, and if you can look at the color of the body and the color of the ground is the same. So they are very much well exposed, but still very camouflaged. So the chances are very high that the prey animals might move much more towards where these lions are, because I heard that this morning some other lion tracks were spotted by the northern side of the dam. So if those lions decide to come back to come and have a drink here, chances of these prey animals to run down this side and meet these ones are very much high. So the thing is, the tracks went to Torchwood by the northern side of the Chitwa. So this is one of those cats which can be able to lie down for approximately 18 hours. But the one on the left, his bellies, they are looking very full now, because she has just been to the water hole. She was drinking earlier on. So the one on the right, you can see the bellies are much more thin there, because that one has not yet gone down to the water hole for drinking. So that other one is just water there. So they were all looking more or less the same, hungry as the one on the right side. So we might be lucky with them hunting. Kimberly, this is quite a very big cat. You can see that the stomach can capacitate quite a lot of water and some meat. So if he's looking full like this, just from normal drinking water, you can see that these cats, they can be able to push a very big weight from what they eat. David, unfortunately, the Mangeni, I haven't seen them and I haven't heard anything about them. The only Mangeni I have last seen, it was the one we saw yesterday morning, moving much more towards the private concessions. You can see now that this other one is up now, right here. Apologies for the pole. I'm just going to reposition again so that you can see them nicely there. So you can see now that this one might now wake up to go and have a drink as well. It has been very hot, and when the sun is strong, the possibility of dehydration are also very much high. So now it's completely overcast. Maybe the temperatures are going to low down, which might also encourage them to go and do a real hunt. Because here, they are just acting as a sit-and-wait predators. They are not hunting as usual. They're just lying down here because it's a water hole, animals are coming to drink. Kylie, the elephants here by the Chitwa, when I was entering earlier, I saw a lot of fresh dunks, fresh droppings, showing that the elephants has been here maybe about an hour or 2 hours ago. The possibilities of seeing the elephant has coming to drink here, they are very much high. So the only thing I haven't seen so far, no evidence associated with this animal, is the buffalo. So you can see that they don't really want to give up. They are still checking by the other side of the dam wall. Yeah, the wind which is blowing here is very much warm. So I'm sure it's not helping them too much. You can even see that the one on the right, the mouth is open all the time. So when the lions are like this, if it's only females, so when the lions are just like this, you must check, oh, this one has got a problem with the right eye. You can see that that right eye is not much more open like the left one. Yeah, this one has been fighting a lot. You can see all these scratch marks. She doesn't want to look at us again because we started talking about the problem with the eyes. So this female is camera shy and doesn't want to look at us at all. Maybe it is, yeah. This morning I was with them, but I never noticed. Yeah, now it's clear. You can see that the other eye is affected by something. So now let's quickly go back to David, who is also following his lions.
Well, my lions, I think, chickened out, and what they did, they just feared those buffaloes. So what they did, they looked at them, and they did not want to take any chances, and they decided to leave buffaloes and maybe hunt buffaloes another day. So I think now they're concentrating on something smaller, and I'm talking about zebras. So I want to show you where they are. They just came past zebras, just waved, at the lions, but I think they might be going for something different now. I'll just show you where they have stopped, and here. I'm going to stop here for a minute because they might enter that little bush there. How is that, Archie? Well, we still have a few vehicles on the way, but let's have a look at them. Because what they want to do... So the dragon, the male buffalo, what will happen to do? They tend to be like the defenders of the herd, but they buffaloes we were watching before, they were all males. And when males get a little old, you'll get them being kicked out of the herd by the females and living on their own. Now, that is the lead lion there, and it looks to me like the youngster, and they want to cross. And another one have just popped up, and what they want to do is to cross that particular area and go to the other side. This looks like a lioness to me, and should be a fully grown one. Could be the pathfinder in the sense that she is leading the pride in terms of where to go and what to do. But by all shape and form, when I look at all these lions here, they definitely want to get something for themselves to feed on. So that's a youngster there. You can see he got a bit of mane on his neck and head. So they'll all always follow the female, which will always lead them. Child of the universe, chances are to me, these lions would catch a buffalo. As much as it could be very dangerous for them, they have a very good chance. This pride child of the universe is huge by any standard. And for 16 mouths and having such youngsters, they need to eat a lot. Otherwise, if they bring down one zebra, they might have to bring down 3 to be able to feed them all. So child of the universe, don't go far. Keep looking, and you want to keep watching rather. 3 are leading the rest. They were taking chances, and no wonder they decided to leave the buffaloes on their own. Well, moving on intent there, but those zebras are quite a distance from them, and they sat in an open area. Getting close to them, and they'll easily spot them unless they go and lay an ambush somewhere, and maybe one of the lions take a huge loop and decide to chase the zebras towards the ones laying an ambush. I think that's the only formula I see, or could be a winning formula for these lions. Otherwise, where those zebras are, it's a very open area, and they'll definitely spot these lions as they get close to them. Very good, ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. We had a bit of a technical breakdown there. Sometimes these things will happen. We always broadcast from the African wilderness, and occasionally we'll have a few challenges just to get you this wonderful sighting from here in African bush to your living rooms. We apologize truly for that, but as it is now, all looks very good. Now we're back in business, and for those of you who are joining us now, these lions belong to a pride that's called the Olololo. I see that's a youngster male. You can see his mane is coming out. And if they were to bring down the buffaloes, the boys or the males come in very handy. So just watching them slowly walking, and of course the zebras that we showed you earlier have no idea that these lions are here. And I'm looking at the distance between the zebras and the lions is about half a kilometer. Electrical engineer, very good to hear your name again today. I think I had your name the other day on Christmas Day, and always keep asking questions, electrical engineer. That gives a lot of joy. Well, when young, sometimes electrical engineer is difficult to tell males from females, but of course, unless you get the obvious difference if you look below the tail. But from a distance, it could be a bit difficult. But when fully grown electrical engineer, males are in black and white. They have the huge mane on their necks and of course on the That's the ones to tell the difference between male is short. Now we'll go back to our last lion that I think and if to cross this, then we'll wait and see if they're going to pop out from that other side of the same lagger. So electrical engineer, if you look carefully at that lion walking there, he got a bit of mane on his neck and his head, so that one is definitely a boy. Females will definitely have no mane or no hair. And let's find out if these zebras have a clue of what's happening. The zebras, the impalas, they have no idea the danger that is facing them. But again, who knows? Well, Sydney got some lions. Not sure they are getting a little busy, or they are still very lazy as they have been.
So you can see that these lions are very much relaxed, and if you can check what David Gatamba Gitu has just indicated about the difference between the male and females, you can see that these are just the females, as we cannot see any male, although I know the young males, when they're less than 2 years, you will see they don't have a mane, but 2 years and above is the beginning of the mane. So you can see the black tip on the tail on one of these lions there. The other one is hiding. So that is very much important for communication. And this black tip as well, they're not born with it. There has to be a development of that tarsal. So unfortunately, the Mangeni lions don't have the tarsals anymore due to the hair loss as a result of the mange. So the tail is very much important to the cats. Electrical engineer, the lions, they do conduct hunting at night, and they can be very much successful because eyesight is excellent, hearing ability is there, and some other different senses such as the whiskers are helping them. So during the day they get discouraged by the hot temperature. Sometimes when the temperatures are on their favor, they do conduct hunt during the day, but mostly they do target animals at night. They use advantage of the dark. So these kind of animals, lions, they are so very much used to hunting as a group. So they hunt together, and when it's just an individual, the chances of taking down a prey, they are not always there. Yes, some of them, because of being solitary for quite a long time, they end up obtaining quite a lot of hunting skills. It all goes with experience. The young males, they've got to learn how to hunt, and they are not allowed to participate until they're at least older than a year, because hunting can be very much dangerous to the youngsters. It is a matter of life and death to the prey animals. Some of them, like buffaloes, can always retaliate. As we have just seen earlier with David by the Masai Mara, lions and buffaloes chasing each other. So now let's quickly go back to Steve and hear how Steve is doing.
Well done, David and Sydney, for having lions this afternoon. David, that sounded like an awesome sighting, the Olololo Pride, and it's always really interesting to, we always talk about the formidable lions, how they smash and eat everything. Well, every now and again, buffalo tell them, They just saw injury in the one individual's eye. That's why lions are in prides, to tackle the big and hairy. Every now and again, though, they don't survive. Lions are often killed by buffalo. It's a very risky business. But as with Sydney, you'll see that lions are often also lying very, very flat. Well, we've been covering quite some distance trying to search for some tracks, and there's seemingly no leopard tracks that we've seen, anything fresh anyway. And well, in the areas we've been looking, and that's a good indication that possibly Hosana, if he is still on the property, is probably on a kill somewhere. So tomorrow morning we'll probably have to go to put in some effort on foot on the bushwalk to see if we can find him. Tundi we had this morning moving north, sort of on our northern boundary towards Bivosukatlan in a very tricky block. We're going to do a big loop here to our western side and then maybe slowly make our way around there, see if we can find any activity of her that side. It has cooled down quite considerably. It's quite overcast now. There's definitely a system pushing in somewhere. It's raining in the Cape, which is kind of out of season for now, and it's been raining down on the east coast. So after 2 days of really hot temperatures, this is generally what happens. It doesn't necessarily mean the rain's going to fall where we are right now, but definitely is going to fall somewhere. And hopefully it will fall where we are, because, well, we need it. You can tell by the grass. The grass is very, very dry. There are patches of it coming through of green, But without the green grass, we're not going to get the buffalo and the zebra. Hello, Richard. Well, while we talk about your question, here we've got an impala in the road. Oops, and he's gone. You want to know if impala species or antelope species fight with each other? The only thing I've ever seen is larger animals, for example, elephant, coming towards and chasing away whatever's there. I've never really seen any other antelopes across species causing any trouble with each other. They kind of seem to stick to their own species. They also don't seem to have too much in the way. The competition is actually quite limited out here because the feeding heights these animals go through. So in times of plenty, there's almost no competition between them because they're all just feeding. They're all doing their thing. And I've never seen any sort of inter-specific competition between different antelope species. They often hang out together to protect themselves against predators. But I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It's nothing I've ever seen or read about before. But it's possible. In closed situations where you don't have as natural as a condition as we have here in small reserves that are fenced in, you will have Nyala out competing bushbuck, actually hybridizing with them, breeding with them. It's also in small closed systems you have had white and black rhino also hybridizing, which is a very strange thing to happen. But like I said, those are in uncontrolled or in too controlled conditions where the natural state of things is not really in a state of balance anymore, kind of really off to the left or right hand side of the spectrum. Okay, well, we're going to continue on down there yesterday. Let's see if there's any movement. Could we have a trifecta this afternoon? Well, let's go to David and the Olololo Pride.
Well, thank you, Steve, and hopefully you might also get something different, because me and Sydney already got lions. Of the 11 lions, 9 of them have entered that particular valley. Well, 8, is it 8? 7, sorry. 7 have gone in that valley, and 4 are slowly going to either reinforce the 8. And allow me to apologize for the technical breakdown we had. These things, again, will always happen once in a while or every other time, because of the challenges we face to get to you all this wonderful sighting in your African or from the African wilderness. I do not know why those zebras there are just running. Either they have seen something or they have sensed something, but I doubt it is the lions that are behind there. But some of these, I would say, prey or herbivores or animals are very sensitive. One of them just picked some little wind or some sign of some danger, and he told the rest of the herd out of here because we could be in a lot of trouble. Who knows? Sometimes they just sense wrong things. Sometimes I've seen them seeing warthogs and running away. Now we have pretty different herbivore in the midst of the zebras there, or the impalas, and this one is the eland, and this is the largest antelope that we got in Africa. Sean, you'd like to know whether there are any sebo in the Mara. No, Sean, we do not have sebo in the Mara. Sebo are antelopes. I'm sure you know, Sean, how they look like, but they have the most wonderful horns you'd think of, and how their horns curve backwards. They are so beautiful and very good looking. Well, Sean, you only see sebo antelopes in a game reserve in Kenya called Shimba Hills. Shimba Hills is a game reserve very close to the coast of Kenya, near the Indian Ocean. So we do not have any sabo antelopes in the Mara, but of course, as I said, we have them in other parts of Kenya, and that particular game reserve that's called Shimba Hills. Well, trying to compare the horns of the sabo antelopes and the elands, I think the elands have much longer and more straight horns than those ones of the sabo antelope. Hello, lions. You need to make a plan. You need to go in that lager and come up with a plan. Good news, the good news, you say elands are very good looking, and let me see if Archie is going to show us that antelope again, the good news, because there's something, I'm sure the good news you know about the elands, it's the dewlap they got. You see that massive dewlap, and I would guess This one here, we get into the dewlap now in another few seconds. And I would guess this one here is a male by virtue of his size and also by the size of his dewlap. Dewlap, I'm talking about that muscle that's hanging below his neck. That's what we call dewlap. And we'll also see other animals that get dewlaps too, like the leopards. Like in Juma, we have one particular male that we call Tingana, who is the Duke of Juma, who got such a huge dewlap. I don't know whether he has been seen today or the last time he was seen. So yes, they are very good looking. The dewlap has been claimed it serves the purpose of maybe regulating heat. It's like for thermal regulation when it gets very heat. Either they get some heat being dissipated from that dewlap just to help cool these antelopes cool. Strange to see him alone. I would wonder where the rest of them are. These two buffaloes that you see here are not part of the herd that we saw before. These are two other males, and either they can see the lions, not either, they definitely can see them, and one of them, the one on the right, you can see he's looking at them. And what he'll do, he'll stop eating and not want to take any chances. Once in a while, they know you'll turn around and start eating, and these lions might sneak on you, and you'll be in a lot of trouble. So what do? You show the lions you can see them, and once you show them you can see them, chances are they will not even bother coming for you, because it's most of the times like sneaking on their prey. Now all those zebras there, plus the eland, plus the impalas, have no idea that there's big risk down there in that lager. The best news is when these lions will start coming out and popping up on the other side of the lager. Let's find out what Sydney's lions are doing.
So you can see that I've got the flat lions, nothing is happening. They are still resting, and I don't think they're going to be moving around now. And I'm thinking about to drive around here and see if we can find something, and then I will come back again later on. We might be lucky, maybe with a spotted cat, who knows. The lions, they are the only ones which has got the tuft of hairs, a tassel on the tail. If you can look at the other ones, don't have. So amongst all these cats, lions, they are the only ones with the tuft on the tail. So don't get surprised, I'm not alone at the moment here at the sightings. There is some other vehicles as well. So you might hear some camera clicking and some different engines. I have not yet come across the Styx Pride. It's one of those prides I'm still hoping to see one of the good days. So I can see that here on my right side things are happening. The hippopotamus are chasing each other here. I am right at the dam wall where we're seeing these lions, and there was some little bit of aggression there. So apologies for the roof. You can see there's quite a lot of poles here. Oh, one of them is now defecating. You can see that is what they do. Normally they shake the tail every time the hippopotamus defecate. That is what they do also when they're marking their territories. Here, so that we can carry on and see if we can find any other interesting animal in the same area and come back again here later on. So maybe later on we might find them hunting. So I'm just asking for a chance to pass here. I am not alone at this sighting. There's other vehicles who just got here now, also trying to position themselves. So now let's quickly cross over to the Masai Mara and hear what David is having at the moment.
Yeah, it's always fair, Sydney, if the lions become very flat, to just move on and look for something else, which might be the case, or which is something I might be doing also very shortly, because the 6, 7 or so lions, or 9 that went in that lager have not come out and they have stuck there without doing much. And these 2 that are out here, and maybe 4, the 2 and the 2, are just they are waiting, not sure what they're waiting for. It's not unusual just to tell lions, just taking it easy, and when they change plans, maybe 5 now, which would mean if this is 5, we got 6 inside that lager, and either they're going to lay an ambush, but initially I had seen the vultures there actually going to show us the same vultures we watched before, and I was wondering what those vultures could be doing at that particular point, assuming there was a kill somewhere. And the 6 lions that I cannot see, could they be on that kill? You vultures, what are you waiting for? Definitely, this tree is a tree I know I've passed here a number of times, and I don't remember seeing as many vultures like this in this particular tree at a given time. So that tells me there could be some food somewhere, and maybe the lions or the owners of the kill are still there, and definitely they will not get anywhere close to them. I rule out all the other animals. Silver, very good, and it's true, that's what exactly the vultures will signal. There's a carcass nearby, and that's what exactly I'm thinking. There could be a carcass somewhere here. But now, as I said, Silver, there's a very huge lager there, and it's difficult to get there. Number one, so many boulders. You can see the terrain there looks pretty bad. When the vultures get that signal, there could be a carcass. So many vultures with no carcass. That has happened, but the general rule is there's always. I hope you see there are more of the vultures there on a different tree. And these are what we call the African white-backed vultures. And they're just enjoying the little swing from the wind. Do not worry. My apologies again, ladies and gentlemen. We had a little bit of a breakdown there. The general rule, Salva, what happens is anytime you see vultures 5, 10, and more say 20, 30 together on a particular tree, chances are there could be something. 9 out of 10 times there could be a carcass, and that has always helped us out in the wilderness. So when we see vultures like that crowded on a particular tree or on the ground and we go there, we'll always see a carcass. On lucky days, we'll always see a carcass and maybe the killers. But there are exceptional cases where you might see vultures, and when you go there, you comb the area, you keep looking, and you see nothing. Maybe that's 1 out of 10 times, but the general rule is 9 out of 10 times, there'll always be something. Now, these vultures are just too many to be on that one particular tree, and what I'm thinking, where the 5 or the 6 lions went under and they have not come out, there could have been a kill. And if that kill is still very fresh, these vultures will not dare go there until they are satisfied or they're convinced the lions are done and they're gone. So the vultures, only if you could talk to them and ask them whether there's anything there. You can see all the rocks or the boulders I'm talking about. Pamela, good question. Do vultures have a predator? I do not think so. And the predators they have are lions. When they try to sneak on lion kills, lions have been known to slap them and kill them, but I have not seen them eating. We're looking at the food chain, and I think the very top of the food chain, and I think vultures do not have anybody who would be feeding on them. I'm trying to remind you, even the hyenas, I haven't seen even a hyena eat a vulture. There could be a case, who knows, but that's quite rare. And the food chain, they're very top, the vultures. Hello, buffalo. You don't want to die today, definitely. sometimes it's always very difficult for us when we see, predators hunting, because we are always very torn between the predators and the prey, We want the prey, to win and survive being brought down, but also we want the predators to get some dinner for themselves. But, it's always what it is. And chances are, if these lions don't hunt now, that they might do that tonight. They'll be known to take advantage of the darkness when they see better than the prey. And there could be a possibility if maybe I come here tomorrow morning, I might be entertained by a kill. So one is going down in there, but apart from the mammals, let's go to some primates with Steve.
Thanks, David. Indeed, we have got a primate, a vervet monkey, sitting tall up in a very thorny knobthorn tree, surveying the landscape. Knobthorns, I don't think they do at the moment. I think some of them have got some seed pods on them. I often find monkeys and baboons in the knobthorns feeding on the very nutritious pods that they have. But he's just sitting, having a little look. And we found Hosanna yesterday morning because we heard the monkeys. Something like that. We talked about alarm calls earlier this drive. Alarm calls to me from monkeys are the most reliable when it comes to a predator. And if you find the monkey, you'll see it'll be up in a tree shouting its disdain towards an angry or towards a leopard or a lion, and it'll be looking. And you'll hear it shouting, and then you know how to find that cat. So quite much easier than impala. Well, impala are also very reliable, but you can't always find the impala or see them. But when you see the impala, you've got to see what direction they're looking in. But monkeys are often a little bit more elevated. They can see a little bit further. You've also got to bear in mind they can see quite far. When an impala's alarm calling, the cat can also be quite close, whereas monkeys can be a few hundred meters away. So you need to make sure you're able to have these big concentric circles, because what we know of predators, once they've been spotted, just like the Wahlberg eagle earlier and a lot of owls, once they've been spotted, the predatory sort of advantage of being stealth and camouflage is gone, and they generally sneak off into the thickets. It is indeed a treat to see monkeys, but you should all probably come and stay in our camp for a little while, and you'll see a monkey every single day. There are a couple of monkeys that like to come and cause. That was a crested Franklin. I think I gave a little bit of a fright too. Sometimes you can be walking through the long grass and you'll hear that, and that is also, I don't know if you did hear it, that's also one of the sort of alarm calls that we follow, because leopards will chase them and they will suddenly go, whoa, there's a leopard, and it will jump. But what they'll do after that call is you'll find them sitting in a tree making this very interesting sort of like purring. I can't do it, I'm not going to try now, but it's this very interesting little sort of churring sound, looking at the cat as they sit in the tree, terrified as to whatever the leopard might be up to. But like I said, once predators are spotted, they invariably give up the ghost when it comes to trying to hunt that animal, because the advantages and the energy then expended are going to be very different. Hello, Pradeep. Monkey has the longest tail. I have no idea. Lots of monkeys up in sort of Central Africa. Probably a lot of them would have, because some of those monkeys I think have got what we call prehensile tails, so able to actually hold on to the branch with their tail. But Pradeep, age 6, I have absolutely no idea, I'm afraid. Davy, I don't think you know, do you? No? Well, it's definitely not us. We definitely don't have the longest tail. We probably used to have a tail once upon a time. I wonder if anybody out there knows which monkey has got the longest tail. Please hashtag SafariLive, throw in your comments on the chat stream, YouTube chat stream. Let us know if you know what monkey has the longest tail. Very interesting. The colobus monkeys, really long tail. The Sykes monkeys also, but you know, the tail is, for most monkeys, is for balance. So when they're in the tree, like a leopard, it sort of helps to stabilize them when they're walking through the tree. Gary, you reckon spider monkeys? Yes, I honestly have no idea. If anybody knows unequivocally, then let us know. If we are all guessing, that's great. But if you do know for a fact, you've measured all the monkeys in the world. Ooh, we've got some falcons in the tree. Still a couple sits in there. Gregarious falcons, you can almost immediately assume that they are, where's the word gone? Amur falcons. And indeed, they look to be Amur falcons, migrating all the way from the east into China, all the way through India. They come across from, Israel and then down into Africa. Very nice birds. I'll have a look there. The female has got the streaky chest. The male is all grey in colour, and you see he's got a bit of a mask on her face. Okay, so apparently the googly has told us that long-tailed macaques or macaws have got the longest tail according to body size. So there we go, Pradeep, age 6. But let's quickly have another look at these Amur falcons. Maybe I'll go forward. Are you happy there, Darby? You're actually in good position. So they come down here for the influx of our insects that accumulate this time of year. And that is the primary food source that they have. Mainly also termites, the female or the breeding termites that come out, the elates. And you can get them in enormous flocks. But unfortunately, the movements of these birds all the way from Asia down has decreased dramatically over the years because people are using nets to catch them. There's the male. Isabella, this is great. Yes, it is. Very nice to see them. But they are being caught at an alarming rate as they're trying to migrate down, and they've got to migrate back the other way, and they're being used as food and all sorts of other things. So a very, very sad state of affairs. You used to be able to find them gathering in thousands in trees, and over the last few years, if you find 15 to 20 together, that is a lot. Here we've got about 4 or 5 at one stage there. Very, very sad, but nice to see. And you can always tell the direction of the wind when a bird sits in a tree, because they like to face the wind so that they can easily jump into the wind to fly away. Obviously also the stability of them as well when they want to jump into the air or when the wind is blowing them enables them to stand easily with both feet on the branch. If you're standing sideways to the wind, it's just going to be a bit tricky to stay there. Well, it is cooling down quite nicely. There's possibly a time in the afternoon we might get our predators getting up and moving. So we haven't had much luck on the western side here. We're probably going to move over towards Gowrie Cutline, should I say, to see if we can follow up on the majestic Tundi from this morning. But it seems as if Sidders has moved away from the watering hole and has found an animal we've been looking for. Large, big elephant.
I have got another very interesting and big animal at the moment. You can see a very big, not very far away from where we are. This is a beautiful sighting. Look at that. Look at the ears, are just resembling the African map. So African elephant, the ears are telling a lot about Africa. So these animals can weigh up to 5,000 kilograms, and that is quite a lot. It's quite a very big animal. Apologies for the poles. Look at that animal now when it's coming behind that marula tree. This is one of those trees elephants like to eat their fruits. The amarulas, elephants and amarulas, they get along. So this elephant might be heading maybe towards the Chitwa area, but it's quite far where we are now for drinking for the afternoon. So the tusk of the elephants is used in order to execute various tasks. So the tusk can be used for digging, they use it again for ring barking, and they always prefers one of these tusks the most. So some of them, like humans, are right-handed, whereas some, they are left-handed. I'm just going to reposition a little bit here so that you can have a better sighting. So the elephants, they have got to eat 400 kilograms a day. Their diet is consisted of both grass and leaves. So they are not selective. Elephants, they are mixed feeders. They can just eat anything and everything. Oh, that elephant. So the chances for another sighting are very much low, I can see now. So let's just keep. So here where I am very far away, and in the wilderness sometimes network is just coming and going. So apologies if those kind of problems are happening as I'm driving. Electrical engineer. The elephants are not really afraid of the big animals. It has been said a lot that the elephants are afraid of the small things such as rats and mice can scare such a big animal like an elephant. Something they don't like the most, the elephant, is the ants. So ants, they get employed by the trees to come and look after these leaves and the branches. Where there's too much ants act as a bodyguard of the tree, and elephants, they don't like it there because ants is not easy to blow them out if they get into the trunk. So now let's quickly go back to the Masai Mara where David is waiting.
Well, I think it's nice always to leave flat cuts and go look for other big animals like elephants. And there's flying boom. So now this is a different tree from the first tree we saw. This is good. The one that had a lot more. And I'm more than convinced there's something there. That's a hyena there somewhere passing. I know she's a hyena near those lions there. Very good, Archie. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a little bit of a technical issue. We'll first send you to the tech loop for some time. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, and apologies for the inconveniences due to a poor network signal, but we are back again now, and I am heading back towards the Chitwa. I'm just checking the northern side of Chitwa to see if we cannot find anything. I haven't seen a leopard around Chitwa for quite a long time. The last time I was here, and the leopard I saw, it was Kuchava. I'm still hoping to see Kuchava in this area. Kuchava is so very much shy. So I saw the water bug while I was already gone past. There was a water bug standing here next to the road. So the bush is getting very thick here as well. But there is something which is so unique about the Djuma Game Reserve side, because it's much more flat and there's quite a lot of water, a lot of potholes the elephant are creating, which is collecting water. Coming this side is difficult to find the elephant creating their own dams. Here, they are relying only on the Chitwa dam, on everything. Even for mud wallowing, they are going to these areas. But if you go to that side of Djuma, you will see a lot of dams created by this elephant with a lot of water. So no tracks at all for Kuchava in this area. So now let's head back to Steve and hear what his plans are.
Thanks, Sidders. Well, you're going to try find Kuchava. We're going to try find her mum. We're back towards the area where we lost her this morning. Patrick was on drive and Tundi just decided to pop out in the middle of the road and then followed her a little bit into the thickets, but she is quite elusive and it does take a lot of getting used to driving out here and trying to keep up with a cat and also being able to present. It really is something that it takes a bit of practice. So we're going to head back into that area. We're thinking and hoping that if she didn't make a kill this morning, that she might be up and moving, because it has really gotten a little bit more, or a lot cooler than it was when we started the drive. And when we lost her, it did really, as Pat said this morning, it really increased in temperature, like someone just turned up the furnace. So that is a very tricky block to access and to work in, but we're going to go and have a look, see if she's come out. A good chance that if it has been warm, that she will then move from that area, because I don't know of any watering points within that block. So she's got the option of going to Buffelshoek. So let me show you on the map so that you all have a good understanding of what we are talking about. This is Djuma Private Game Reserve. We are right over here now, and well, we had Tundi this morning. We found her here on the road. No, yeah, over there, and followed her in here somewhere, and we lost her somewhere there. So now the watering holes of Wuetelapan, Tambuti Dam, which is up here, and then Buffelshoek, which is in the right. So pretty much a triangular sort of fashion for fresh water. But then all along this drainage system, there are lots of pans and wallows and muddy areas that we have been picking up the sauna in for the last week or two. So we're going to go have a little investigation, see what we can find. Because there's one thing a leopard can't go out with, go for without on every day, and that is water. If they do manage to get a kill, they can actually successfully get enough moisture from the animal, but often they will just go and basically get some water regardless, because it gets quite salty. Giraffe Girl, what is the most difficult leopard to track out here? Well, that is, Ankusana is the easiest, but just his movements make it easier. Tundi, she's very tricky. Tingana, he moves pretty much in straight lines, and so he's a territorial male. He's got a big area, and well, when we do track him, her and we want to know So through know where he's going, but Sunny doesn't seem to follow that sort of pattern. She's constantly tracking through the long grass, moving left and right in search of food, and it makes it very hard to find and very hard to track. But with the expert assistance likes of Herbie or Rexon on foot, we often do very, very well fine. Okay, it seems like David, or my signal, I think mine might be dipping and David's is back up. We're going to be going in here. This is Gowrie Cutline. The block I'm talking about where we headed this morning is just on the other side of the river there. So let's go all the way up to the Masai Mara with Mr. David Gitu.
Well, just like Sydney, I also decided to leave my lions because every time the lions go flat, the best thing is just to move on and look for something else. Now, after having left the lions, I was looking left and right, and I saw the sun going home. I don't know what position Archie wanted me to stop for us to have a little better view of that sunset. How does that look? Because we have not been able to see sunset here for a couple of days. And look at that. And took over sunset, and that is just magnificent. For the last 2 weeks, I had lost what I call my golden moment. And yes, that's a hyena way out there. That's very good eyes there, Em. And what I want now is if we could get an elephant just walking across there, or a giraffe. But at least we have the iconic trees of the Mara Triangle that we call the boscae. It's the boscae tree. And some of them we call the torchwood trees. And how cool is that? So every day I see a sunset or sunrise here. The last few weeks I've been calling it my golden moments, because I feel such a privilege to be doing what I'm doing as a guide, but also to be out here every morning and every afternoon, evening, just to see these wonderful rises and sets of the sun. Look at those colors there. Very good job, Archie. And see the tree line there, some tall, some short. It looks to me like a painting. If you look at it carefully, it doesn't look so real. But yes, that is a Mara Triangle for you this hour. Susanna, you say beautiful view. I got a friend of mine in South Africa who's come up like Archie, who is Gabonese of French origin, and seeing such a sighting, I'm sure he would say magnifique, magnifique, which would translate to magnificent. So Susanna, you're not alone saying this is beautiful. I'm not sure what other viewers would like to tell me about this wonderful sunset. One word, possibly hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. Some of the sightings that you don't see anywhere else in the world. Well, in Africa, I think we have the best sights of sightings of the sunset and the sunrise every other day when you're out in the bush. So the mountain of the escarpment you see there, that's called the Olololo escarpment. And for those who could have been with us earlier, we had some lions. And very good to hear you all saying high five, Archie, for a very well done job. And the lions we're watching are called the Olololo, and they were named after that escarpment that you see there. Our camp is not very far from there, just a little bit to the right of that hill. That is where we live. So this has been a great day. We're coming out for a drive, and you see lions wanting to do a hunt, and that's exactly where our camp is. That building there is, that building is part of the Angama Lodge. I'm sure you have always seen on our credit, we'll always talk of Angama Lodge. That's one building there, and I guess could be for members of the staff. And I'll tell you, the views the staff will have from there are magnificent, are breathtaking. And that's the Angama Lodge up there, and you can see the location of that beautiful lodge. Mr. and Mrs. McDonald, you're saying this is priceless, and it's very good to hear that from a couple. You have joined hands to treat one word priceless. Yes, I would agree, because this could not have a value. It's just, to me, I would say wow, and yes, it is truly priceless. How cool. So those clouds there could be building, but I am not smelling any rain. We have had enough rain, and before the rains stopped, you know, I can tell you, every other day we were hammered. There were times we were hammered by rains in the morning and in the afternoon. Very good. Hopefully the sun will go down in style and
I have tried by all means and check the whole area around the Chitwa, and I was not lucky. Now I am going back to the lions and see if these lions are not yet interested on hunting or not. Maybe you might find that these lions now, they are up and running and they are looking for some dinner. Chances on these lions to go look for dinner early as now, they are very much high, because the weather is perfect. It's all determined by the weather. The probabilities of the rain, I can say it is 60%, because now the dark clouds which were building earlier on, they are all now dispersing, but it is still remaining overcast. Maybe tonight or tomorrow. So there is no much changes here by the lions. I can see where I am, they are still. So maybe I went past quite a lot of impalas heading down this side. So I don't think these prey animals are gonna see them, because they're right on top. So now let's quickly go back to Steve, who's got a bed.
Thanks, sitters. Another one. Fork-tailed drongo is in the sky once again and getting very angry with this very beautiful pale morph. Now I wonder if any of you out there are good with your raptors and can tell us which one this might be. Send your tweets through to #SafariLive or drop them in on the YouTube chat stream. We've got a bird of prey sitting in the tree. There are feathers all the way to the talons, so I'll give you the clue that it is indeed an eagle. And see, when it moves its head like that, there's binocular vision that these raptors have, and I'd love to be able to experience it for myself, but apparently when they move their head from left to right, it's almost like the eyes are zooming in onto some prey or animal in the distance. And see how well it's blending in with the grey sky in the background. Yes, the good news, the colours are really, really cool. Had a little bit of a white sort of rump as it flew. This is the pale morph of this species. Not the most common of the variety, often mainly seen as a brown form or brown morph. Mafuta, that was a very good guess. You got a great guess there. I'm not going to give your answer away just yet, Mafuta, but you did indeed get it correct. We saw Wahlberg's eagle earlier this morning, or earlier this afternoon. We saw a Battalier eagle earlier this afternoon as well. And Becky, it is not a Wahlberg eagle. When we go back to this one, you'll see that it is actually a bit bigger than Wahlberg's. It lacks, I mean, you see how smooth and round the back of the head is? Mario, there are no snow eagles in South Africa that I know of, but I mean, that's a good guess. It looks like it could be something in the snow. But you see there's got a very round back of the head. The Wahlberg's eagle has got a little, oh, it's going to yawn. What's it doing? The Wahlberg's got a bit of a crest on the back. When I compared it with the young Battalier eagle with that little bit of a crest, that is almost a characteristic of a Wahlberg's. And their beak are quite narrow and small, the Wahlbergs. Lauren, you've also got it right. Well done. Well done. It's a beautiful, beautiful bird indeed, and this one stays here all year round, and if is in fact a grey bird. So this is the pale morph tawny eagle, and he gets the browns, the dark brown, and also the pale. So a very, very nice specimen, and they're also very well known for directing you towards the site of a kill, because they are scavengery, and they will also feed on rodents, carrying back to their nests. I've found a small giraffe I thought was quite incredible. Obviously feeding the chicks in the nest. Bone can be quite useful, but it is obviously the meat around the bone that was utilized. Well, beautiful dead tree with the eagle inside, nice and well camouflaged to the background, and well, you don't get more camouflaged out in the wilderness than a lion.
So you can see that these lions are very much camouflaged here, make use of the sand. When I'm looking at these lions, the coloring and everything is just matching the surrounding. It's not easy for these animals to see them. I can see some of the impalas are coming back and they are slowly heading down to drink, and possibilities of these lions to react due to the presence of the impalas, they are very high. But impalas can see well. I don't think they're going to win. When it comes to impalas, it's not easy. So you can see that the one is lying down, and the one with the head up is the one that is going to be spotted first. So we will be back just now. Apologies for the inconveniences. We are experiencing some technical difficulties.